Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock. Gentlemen, we're just going to dive right on in. We started out Smackdown Live with the OTC Bloodline. It was Roman Reigns, of course, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay coming out, and then Sami Zayn. And it was a very explosive storyline. This was exactly what the fans were looking for. They wanted answers. They wanted to know what was going on, but they wanted it to know where was everything lined up. Like, was there unity? Was that a miscommunication on Sammy when he Haluva kicked Roman? What was because a lot of things are going on. There's a lot of interchangeable parts. Well, the one thing was that Sammy basically is like, look, I didn't mean to hit you deliberately. That was meant for Solo, and he moved and you got docked. That was my bad. But Jimmy wasn't really buying it. He kind of called out Sammy, raking him through the mud and the whole 9 yards. And Sammy's like, "Wait a minute, you were the one that had my back the whole damn time. You were the one who kind of was like one of my guys when this all went down at the very beginning." And he was looking for an apology. He wanted Roman to apologize for everything that went happen. Roman didn't. Roman relented. And that did not prove to be good because it splintered the OTC bloodline even further. So Sammy basically is like, well, nothing more. Jay bailed. Jey Uso left. He got in Roman's face, said his piece, and yeeted out. He was gone. Bye. So Roman now is on his own, looking for Solo. And the thing is, Jacob Fatu pretty much said it. You're not on our time. You can't call the shots. You're not even the tribal chief. When Solo wants to show up, when Solo wants to do things, that's on Solo's time. You're just going to have to sit and wait. I'm going to say this. Whoever thought of letting Jacob Fatu cut a promo deserves a freaking raise. Because he is the perfect mouthpiece for the bloodline, for the new bloodline. I mean, his promo was so crisp and so clean and so amazing that even I was like, oh shit. Like, honestly, truthfully, who the hell is the real leader of that bloodline? Because if anybody tells me it's Solo Sikoa, you're full of shit. To me, it's Jacob Fatu. I'm just going to leave it there. Now, there's a lot more later on in the night that gets very interesting. Anthony Florio, I'll leave it to you.
MF, you are 100% correct. Jacob Fatu is the real leader of the bloodline. And in all honesty, if anybody should be wearing that damn hula fala, it should be Jacob Mother effing Fatu. That's how I feel about it myself. But let me say it like this. I thought this was a decent segment that kept the story moving, but the way it ended felt too abrupt for me. It was obviously done this way because it will continue later in the show, but 20 minutes is too long for a to be continued segment. That's my only constructive criticism. But other than that, like I said, decent segment. But the segment that we saw later on at the end provided the payoff. Don't worry, a payoff is coming. I know a lot of people are saying, come on, get this done, get this done. No. Long-term booking. That's what's bringing them to the dance. So why do you think WWE is so successful nowadays? Why do you think they're setting records everywhere they go?
And why they're doing better than AEW.
Yeah, why AEW is on the damn decline and WWE is on the rise. It's because Paul Triple H Levesque, unlike that clown in all that Vince McMahon 2.0 clueless idiot who has no clue how to run a wrestling company. Here's a guy right here who knows exactly what he is doing, and it's like the old saying: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So that's all I'm gonna say about it. So very good segment to say the least. Second best segment of the night. One segment better, you know where it's going. So there isn't much more to say on that. So I'm fired up tonight. Bullock, what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, and I'm with both of you guys. Jacob Fatu is the real leader of the bloodline. He's the one that should have the Ulafala. But obviously, he's right now that Ulafala belongs to the tribal chief known as Solo Sokoa. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, that segment was really good. I mean, I know people are like, "Come on, when are we gonna get the payoff?" But again, Florio, what's the? I know you just said it moments ago, but remind the people again. What's WWE best known for? That AEW and that clown who doesn't know how to run a damn wrestling show, Tony Khan. What does Paul Triple H Levesque know what to do?
Look into my eyes when I say this. Long-term booking. How hard is it, people? Come on.
Yeah, get that message through your thick skull, Tony Khan. I mean, because Paul Triple H Levesque knows how to run a damn show. Long-term booking. That's what best advances a storyline. So, and this is well done. And don't worry, folks. The payoff is coming. When? You'll just have to wait and find out. Nothing more to say. Let's move on, Fletch.
All right, first fight of the night we had was Candice LeRae versus Bayley. Bayley winning the match in 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Anthony Florio. Bayley gets back on the winning track in 8:30.
Yes, indeed, she did. 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. Pretty even matchup. Bayley has more strength, but Candice LeRae has the edge and experience and a willingness to cheat. Both women got in a fair amount of offense, so this never felt one-sided. And it also made it harder to predict the outcome, especially since Indy Hartwell is no longer there to ensure a dirty victory. The role model saw LeRae's deception coming when she tried to fake an injury and was able to get the pin and the win. This was fine, but there was a couple of clunky spots along the way. These two can do better, but you can only do so much when a big chunk of your match takes place during a commercial break. Guys, it felt so weird seeing Candice LeRae without Indy Hartwell. I mean, that's going to be very interesting. That's going to be very interesting to see how Candice LeRae gets booked, going forward. The announcers did a good job establishing a connection between these superstars, and that's really all I can say on that. So, give this about 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. Definitely a nice bounce back win for Bayley, and we'll see what that means for her going forward. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, in case you didn't hear me, I thought this was a 2.5 to 2 3/4 star match. What's your rating?
Exactly, 2.5, 2 3/4 as well. I mean, nice bounce back win for Bayley, but yeah, it does feel weird not seeing Indy Hartwell with Candice LeRae. So, and like you just said, Florio, it's going to be interesting to see how they book Candice LeRae now that Indy Hartwell's no longer with the company. So, we'll see how it all plays out. But at the end of the day, it's a 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star match. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, 2.5 stars. I think they did a really good job, and it turned into a fine match. And I think a lot of people are a little worried now that with Candice LeRae on her own, that some people are afraid that she might get cut. That when the next round of Cups of WWE happen, remember, only 3 people got let go this first time out. Baron Corbin, but Corbin basically, it looked like his contract was going to expire anyway, and he was not going to be re-signed. So that's fine. But Tegan Knox got let go, and Indy Hartwell got let go. And as a matter of fact, Indy found out through social media. She didn't even get the notification from WWE that she was going to get let go. She found out from the dirt sheets. She found out from Sean Ross Sapp that she was about to be let go from WWE. And I'm sorry, I gotta take Triple H to task. Don't you think it would be better that a talent would be let go, would be at least notified that they're going to be let go? I mean, okay, I know we're crushing AEW for their booking and everything else. What the fuck would you like to say for Triple H to let that shit happen under his watch? I'm sorry, I'm not going to stand for that bullshit, and neither should Floyo or Michael Bullock. Triple
Amen,
H,
brother. Amen. Testify.
Oh, my brother. Oh, testify.
That's a Vince McMahon Bush League move right there.
No,
Fuck
it
out of here
was.
with that bullshit.
It was. And I am absolutely thinking that Triple H, you have at least a reason to explain yourself on that one. Other than anything else that you've done, yes, creatively you've been amazing. Yes, what you've been doing has been incredible, and we're praising you for it. But with moments like this, we gotta take you to task every chance we get.
Well,
And trust me, I don't care what these guys say. That was an inappropriate move in my eyes.
And the thing is, I mean, Triple H is not going. Paul Triple H Levesque is not going to be perfect. I mean, he's going to have his fair share of mistakes, and unfortunately, this is one of them right here.
Fair enough.
That's all I'll say on that.
No,
I'm not going to go any. I'm not going to go any further and cause another. Well, another Aaron
right.
Hernandez incident.
That's it was fair enough. But I gotta take Triple H to task for it.
Oh no! You have every right. You have every right to be upset with him. I'm just basically saying he's not going to be perfect.
No, and you're absolutely right. So that's why I'm leaving it at that. Then, okay, this really got me going, but I'm gonna choose my words very carefully for this one. Randy Orton comes out, demands Kevin Owens. So Owens comes out, they start brawling again, and then Kevin Owens does a move that I thought is totally illegal in professional wrestling. It's one of the most dangerous moves in wrestling. The pile driver. He pile drives Randy Orton, and Orton goes limp. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Okay. The last time I checked, boys, the pile driver is illegal in WWE. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Now, I believe it is, but if Owens did it, this just created a whole gray area now. So who knows if it was illegal or not?
Yeah. Well, either way, I mean, if Kevin Owens basically did this on his own and decided to say, screw it, I'm going to do it anyway, then to me, and if I was running the damn company and I found out he broke one of the cardinal rules, this piece of shit should be fined and suspended. I'm sorry. I mean, if the move is banned or illegal, this guy should be fined and suspended for breaking one of the rules, because what has been the one issue that's been going on in professional wrestling?
Concussion, CTE.
But this is not a CTE thing. He pinpointed Orton's neck. That's what makes this even worse. It's not even this wasn't even a head injury. They're saying this was a neck and spine injury.
And that's dangerous.
And we know that Orton had a history of that, because that almost ended his career the last time.
Yeah, and if I'm worried about Randy Orton right now. I mean, I hope he's going to be okay, but if this leads to another serious injury that could, another major injury, I'm worried that his career is going to be over. I'm worried about that. So I don't know what to say on this. I mean, if this was done by Kevin Owens on his own, basically saying screw the rules, I'm going to do it anyway. Look,
the funny thing is, I haven't heard anything from Nick Aldis. Aldis has not even come out. Like, I haven't heard nothing from Nick Aldis. I haven't heard nothing from Triple H.
Well, I wonder if they're going to address this come Friday night.
Because the only thing I can think of is, if it is deemed illegal, then obviously the fine and suspension is definitely going to be warranted. But I don't know, because it comes down to the point where, and you saw Cody came out, so you know Cody's pissed, because that was
the announcers were pissed too.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're pissed, then they know that Kevin Owens broke a rule.
There's an I think what it is that there's an unwritten rule in professional wrestling that you're not allowed to do this, even though it's not banned. It doesn't look like it's a banned move, but there must be like a gentleman's agreement, a nod, wink, wink. You don't do this move because this move is way too dangerous. So if Owens did this on his own fruition, saying F it, there's going to be a lot of guys that's going to come after Owens for this. And Cody Rhodes looks like he's the first one that's coming after him for what he did.
Yeah. And the thing is, I mean, you just not only are you going to anger Cody Rhodes, but also Paul Triple H Levesque, because he was the one that brought Randy Orton up in WWE as part of one of the greatest factions in Evolution. So I'm going to be interested to see what happens, what Triple H will say, what Nick Aldis is going to say. But I'll be quite honest, guys. If Kevin Owens did indeed do this on his own, I don't know if you guys will agree with me. Owens should be fined and suspended for doing this.
100%.
I agree.
It was with malicious intent. Malicious intent. That's the key. I got 2 words for you boys. Malicious intent. You do anything with malicious intent?
Yeah.
Consequences, accountability should be taken. And no one takes accountability more than I do. More seriously than I do.
And I totally agree with that. And I think that they should. The question is that, like I said, like you said, where does Nick Aldis falls on that line? Because Aldis is definitely, like, I know you saw the look on Nick Aldis' face. There was genuine concern. Cody was pissed, like,
but
angry.
If I know Nick Aldis inside him, he's probably pissed off with Kevin Owens as well.
The thing is that, like I said, it doesn't look like it's a banned move. However, there is a gentleman's agreement. But the thing is, let's go further back. Triple H warned Randy not to do this. So I hate to say this, and I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, but Triple H warned Randy, you don't want to go down this road. You don't want to go down here
because you know what Kevin Owens is capable of.
because you know what Owens is capable of. So if you're Triple H, he might say, "Look, I warned Randy. There is consequences for your move." He might say, "I'm sorry, Randy, but you may have bit off more than you could chew on this one. You might have got what you deserve for picking a fight with Kevin Owens." I mean, yes, unpopular decision, unpopular move. You might even say that's a very heel-like move by Triple H, but Hunter did warn Randy. Randy didn't listen to Hunter. What am I supposed to do? That's like something like if you two are having a fight, I warned Florio that Bullock, you got a mean streak, that you do something wrong, that you might do something to Florio if he does something wrong. And Florio doesn't listen to me and gets hurt. I'm sorry. I warned you, kid. I warned you what would happen if you messed with Bullock. Then I wipe my hands clean on the whole situation. I think that's what Triple H is feeling like right now. I warned Randy. I told him what's going on. I told him what could happen. But he didn't listen. He got hurt. I disavow any knowledge of any of this shit that happened to Randy Orton. Yes, it sucks. Yes, I'm angry. But what am I supposed to do? I stuck my neck out. Randy didn't listen. But you reap what you sow. You made your bed. You're lying in it.
But the thing is, you wonder if Triple H would have expected Owens to go as far as he did with that. I mean, there's a lot of questions that have got to be answered.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully we find out sometime this week, especially Friday night on Smackdown.
Oh yeah.
Because don't be surprised if Nick Aldis gets involved in this, and don't be surprised if Paul Triple H Levesque, if the two of them are gonna want to address Kevin Owens and saying, "Hey, what was the purpose of that?" I get because of how you feel about Randy Orton choosing sides with Cody Rhodes, but you didn't have to go that far.
Yeah,
because you're endangering the health of not just Randy Orton, but all the other superstars.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna tolerate it.
So we'll see. All this can definitely fine and suspend. There's no doubt. Now it all depends on what Triple H does. Does he allow that fine to stay? Or does he allow the suspension to stay on? Because remember, Triple H could overrule Nick Aldis. He is high authority.
Well, we'll find out.
He could turn around and say, you know what? No, he doesn't get fined. He doesn't get suspended. Now, if that happens, now we got something. Now something's really up. Then I'm looking at Triple H like, what the F are you doing? And if that happens, cerebral assassin, you and I are gonna have a little heart to heart, and you do not want that.
Oh,
not
boy.
with me, and not with not with the attitude I got now.
Oh boy, if that is the case, all I can say is, folks, you might not want to get in good old MF's way, because when he gets in that cerebral viper mode,
sprinkle in some Roman Reigns tribal chief on top of that. Good night.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's basically good night. It's over. It's done for. So we'll see how everything plays out this week. But man, I don't know what else is there to say, Fletch. Like I said, Kevin Owens has got some major explaining to do.
Yeah, he's got some major explaining to do, and we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. All we know is that Randy Orton They did say he suffered a spine injury. They don't know the full extent. This was coming from WWE Medical today. It was a spine injury in the back, and they did say that Randy is out indefinitely. We do not know when Randy's going to return. He's going to be out for a while. That's all we know. There's no timetable.
And that's a damn shame because it was around this time a year ago when Randy Orton returned from being out 18 months.
Yep.
A year and a half from what looked like a career-threatening injury.
Yep.
And now, here it is, almost a year later.
And he's sidelined again.
And he's sidelined once again.
And this time, we don't even know how long he's going to be out. Like that's how bad the injury is. Now we don't even know how long he's going to be out.
I worry if it's that bad. I hate to say this, but it could be career ending.
Well,
I hope not. I hope and pray it's not.
Let me offer a word of encouragement here. The comeback is greater than the setback.
Absolutely. And if I know Randy, man, he's coming back with vengeance on his mind. But the one thing is what if this was the wake-up call? What if this is the moment where Randy's like, you know what? Fuck you, Cody Rhodes. And takes him out. Because it's possible. And there was talk about maybe Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes for WrestleMania. So I don't know. There's a lot going on here. So we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. So, all right. Yeah. It was a good segment, strong segment. Obviously, everybody's talking about the pile driver that was, was it illegal? Was it, is it legal? Is it illegal? What is it? A broken of an unwritten rule that would prompt Kevin Owens to be thrown into wrestler's court, bring the Undertaker out as the judge? I don't know. We'll wait and see. But one thing's for sure, this just got very interesting. This storyline took a major turn. And Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, very unfortunate what happened there. Did you notice Randy Orton having like a raspy kind of voice out there?
Yeah.
I mean, it sounded like he lost his voice somehow. And they made a big deal about the pile driver being banned to make it feel more dangerous. And Corey Graves being mad that they showed replays was a nice touch. I would have been the exact same way myself. And the way Randy Orton sold the pile driver was great. Now, you guys know me. You guys know that I care. And a lot of people say I care too much. But you know what? I don't care because I care. And I take safety and well-being of others damn seriously. And when I saw this, I was like, I'm glad that we did the NFL show on Friday night. Because if we had done this show on Friday night, I would have.
Oh, there would have been some rants coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would the Cerebral Viper would have came out. I'm glad we had actually a couple of days to cool off, and I'm still mad about it, but I'm not as. But if this was Friday, oh no. It would the emotions would have been very raw and very real with me.
I would have been.
And I would have gotten my shovel and buried Kevin Owens 6 feet under.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I'm
kind
still
of like the time during a dark match where Kevin Owens actually did get choke slammed by the Undertaker.
I remember that very well. And but here's the
part of me wish he would come out of retirement and do that again to that piece of shit.
Yeah. This Kevin Owens we're seeing, this is the NXT Kevin Owens.
Mm-hmm.
You remember how dangerous he was in NXT. And when he first came to WWE, ask John Cena. John Cena knows that better than anybody. And this is this would be like if MF called out a dangerous wrestler and that dangerous wrestler laid him out, and then me being the Cody Rhodes came to his aid. I mean, when Cody came to his aid, I thought of you and me, MF, because you're the Randy Orton, I'm the Cody Rhodes, and all that, and I would have done the exact same thing, no doubt about it. And but I mean, they definitely added a realness to this, and I got to give them credit for that, but in a way, they did kind of take it a little too far. But if this was all designed to get Kevin Owens over as this psychotic monster heel now, a la his NXT days and his early WWE days, and in that retrospect, it was done really good. But I got to call foul on that one. They took it a little too far for me, for my taste, and that's really all I can say on that. Thoughts and prayers.
I would have also gone Iron Sheik mode on Kevin Owens.
Oh yes, yeah. Of course we would have gone Iron Sheik mode, no doubt about it. But at the end, from what I was told, from what I came across on the social media there, Randy Orton was diagnosed with a cervical cord neuropraxia following the vicious attack on SmackDown from Kevin Owens. There is no timetable on his return. Mm-hmm. The only thing left for me to say on that is our thoughts and our prayers are with Randy Orton and the Orton family and all of the Randy Orton fans, especially good old MF Michael Fletcher. And, we hope and pray. We wish Orton a very speedy recovery. Get well soon, and then when you come back, unleash that Viper hell that we know you can. And I want to see some boys I want to see Orton drop some boys with some RKOs, especially Mr. Kevin Owens. So get well soon, Randy. We're thinking of you, brother. Speedy recovery. And remember, the comeback is greater than the setback. And when he does come back, that comeback is going to be way greater than this setback. Trust me when I tell you. Let's move on.
All right. With that said, unfortunately, we do have a cutout. DIY versus Pretty Deadly. DIY winning the match in the minute and 43. So we just move on with that. Then after that, we had a tag team match. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill going up against Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax. And it was Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill winning the match in 9 minutes and 45 seconds. So, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
What was the time of the fall?
9:45.
Yeah, I'll give this about maybe 2.5 to 3 on this. So, there's really nothing more for me to say on it. So, what's yours, Fletch?
2.5 to 3. Yeah, solid match. Nothing really amazing coming out of this, but it was a nice win for Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. And Anthony, I give it to you.
Solid 3 to 3 1/4. Pretty average match with a few highlights. But what it set up for the future is more interesting than the match itself. Tiffany Stratton doesn't have the kind of voice that carries, but she does a good job speaking loud enough for the mics to pick up her trash talk. And WWE did a good job planting the seeds for an eventual Nia Jax versus Jade Cargill feud. If I recall, I think this is their first interaction since Jade Cargill had that epic elimination of Nia Jax at the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
That I recall.
Yes.
And that made us all lose our minds in a good way. And Belair and Cargill with the win, and next Friday night on SmackDown in Milwaukee, Algonquin for the good land, of course. We know what that's going to be. Nia Jax will defend the WWE Women's Championship against Naomi. So a golden opportunity for Naomi to become the WWE Women's Champion. So I don't think it'll happen. I mean, it would be a great story if it did, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. Nia's too good right now, and if anybody should take that title from Nia, it should be Tiffany Stratton, a la cash-in. So we just got to find the right time for it to happen. So not much more for me to add on to it. So solid 3, teetering on 3.25. And I'm trying to. All right, I think we have one more. I believe we have one more. I know we have the big announcement squeezed in there somewhere, but I think we have one more match before that, or is this the big announcement here?
Nope, one more thing, and then it's the big announcement. Yep.
Got it. Okay, 3.25. Let's move on to the next match.
Yeah. It was Motor City Machine Guns versus Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, A-Town Down Under, and it was the Motor City Machine Guns winning it in 10 minutes and 33 seconds. Fine match, good tag team fight. I hate to say this, the crowd was on their hands. What the hell, guys? What are you doing? You know, I kind of feel like it was about 2.5 to 3. And the only reason why was because the fans stunk, especially in this fight. I mean, I gotta call the fans out on this. Normally I don't do it, but the fans, what the hell were up with you guys? Were you just a little fatigued? I mean, I don't know. This seemed like a fine tag team fight. I mean, you got the Motor City Machine Guns. You got A-Town Down Under. They're a pretty good tag team match. Tag teams in their own right. I don't know. Fans didn't like this one, Anthony Florio, as I give it to you. As the Motor City Machine Guns, non-title, showing off why they are one of the best tag teams in the world, winning in 10:33.
3.25. I would say by default the fight of the night. Even despite the fact that the crowd was sitting on their hands for this, I don't know why. I can understand it if it was because of Waller and Theory, but the Motor City Machine Guns, you and I know this, MF. We know this better than anybody. One of the greatest tag teams. I could honestly say maybe the greatest tag team in the history of TNA wrestling. I mean, multi-time tag team champions, as we all know. But, you know, I know it's not for everybody, but for me personally, this was a fun and energetic tag bout. All 4 men put in some good work and developed chemistry quickly, despite having very little experience working together. And Corey Graves was doing great on commentary this time around. He was conveying a lot of useful information and not being an annoying heel most of the time. And it feels like Austin Theory is intentionally being less annoying lately to perhaps set up a possible babyface turn after he and Grayson Waller split up down the road. So, but anyways, for me, the default fight of the night, solid 3.25 stars. Not much more to say. Michael Bullock, the WWE Tag Team Champions, another big win for them. And 10:33 was the time of the fall. And your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll give this about 3.25. I mean, I thought it was a good match, but to those fans, I mean, what the hell is wrong with you guys? I mean, basically sitting on your hands and basically being like, oh, we don't give two shits about this match. I mean, this was a good match. I mean, I'm not going to say it was the greatest, but I don't know why you basically didn't give two shits about this. I mean, sitting on your hands and basically staying silent. I mean, if you were fatigued from a previous segment, I would definitely understand it, but there was nothing I could even remember that was exciting that happened before that. So, yeah, so, man, there's really nothing more for me to say. I thought this was a good match. 3.25 for me, and guys, the Detroit Lions had just tied the game against the Houston Texans with a field goal, and go figure with everything that happened with the Lions. Everything went wrong for them, especially Jared Goff, who threw 5 interceptions. That's freaking insane. And yet, here it is. They just tied the game.
And that field goal was not a gimme either. 58 yards, that's
Yeah.
not a gimme by any means.
But
That's
as the great Chris Berman would always say, because that's why they play the game. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And now, yes, guys, we do have the big announcement that did come down not too long ago, and it was a vignette. Nick Aldis praising the women, saying how amazing their eyes have been and the vision that they have in the wrestling business and the whole 9 yards. And guys, after this a moment, it started to be, he talks about the level, the journey, and what was going to be the next, I guess you could say the next part or the next phase in professional wrestling. And thus a big shocking announcement was made on the other night live. And guys, I'm gonna do something that could get me in trouble, but I don't give a damn. I need to do this, and I'm gonna do it right here and right now. So, if you may pardon with me for a moment, I want each and every one of you, ladies and gentlemen, to feast your eyes on WE Women's United States Championship. Can you see that, boys?
Boy, it's a beauty.
It is awesome. All I could say is, boys, history has been made yet again.
And where was this at Bad Blood?
And this is actually the actual belt that will be presented. I do want to say that this is WWE. This is credit from WWE. This is from their YouTube page, and I'm only just screenshotting it. I'm not going to show the whole video because obviously I don't want to get copyright hit with this. Obviously, this is a beautiful thing. That belt now becomes a part of the legacy for WWE. Now the question becomes: is it exclusive to Raw? Is it exclusive to SmackDown? What's the purpose of the belt? Well, what we've been told is that this belt is eligible for both Raw, SmackDown, and believe it or not, NXT. Yes, NXT gets a bite at this apple as well. So we don't know. We know in the very near future that a champion will be crowned, and whoever that first champion becomes, they will be representing with that belt. And now the rumors are starting to swirl immediately that because Nick Aldis has done this, I would not be surprised if Adam Pearce decides, let's bring in a women's intercontinental championship to the fray, where now both Raw and SmackDown will have women mid-card championships. Now, that could also be something else, because now, if they really wanted to, this gives even Tiffany Stratton more options. She does not necessarily have to go after the Raw Women's title, the SmackDown Women's title. Because remember, The Money in the Bank guarantees you a shot at a championship at any time, any place, anywhere, up to 1 year. Does Tiffany Stratton say, you know what? I want to go after the women's U.S. title. I could go after the women's Intercontinental title. She does have the right to do it if she sees fit. It opens the door for more options. So for Tiffy time, she's got to think long and hard before she makes any moves, as they would say. So with that said, all right. So next up was the main event segment. This was the new bloodline. They came out. Solo calling out Roman. Roman coming back, and basically he's like, you know what? You want to go to war? All right, we can take this to war. They start talking about war games, and he basically is like, well, I know who my 5 are. I got the Tongans. I got Tamatonga, Tongaloa. You know I got Jacob Fatu. Myself, that's 4. Sami Zayn is number 5. Sami walks out, and then the beatdown starts. So Roman got jumped. Usos came out, 4-on-3, and then Solo demands Sami to get into the ring to hit him with another haluva kick. To do it for real. Show your loyalty to the new bloodline. Sami gets in and conks out Solo. Down he goes. And it ends up 4-on-4. At the end, the ones up in the air, high above in that arena. And the OTC bloodline is now whole, united, and is now lock and step together. It took them a whole night, but now the OTC is now locked in, and now they're ready for the next step. And if it is 4-on-4, God, what a war games we got on our hands with this one. Who knows? There could be 5-on-5. You know, they could go one more, but I think 4-on-4. I think we're good with this one. I think this is the perfect war games. We don't need 5-on-5 this year. We can go 4-on-4. So we'll see. But my goodness, Anthony Florio, woo-wee! What a way to close this show.
If I may, I want to give a quick thought about the women's U.S. title.
Sure, absolutely.
That is massive news after months of speculation regarding the possible addition of a women's Intercontinental Championship. Fans and superstars alike literally pleading for a belt that will inject more firepower into the mid-card portion of the women's roster. They got their wish on Friday's episode of Smackdown, as General Manager Nick Aldis so eloquently announced. Go get it, ladies. It's there for the taking now, and we here in the WWE Universe, we're dying to see who will be the first to wear it. Massive news. Now then, as for the closing segment, well done. I mean, this was the payoff we were hoping for. That it went exactly as I figured it would. Sami came out, and you know, I didn't buy him being on Solo's bloodline for a minute. I didn't. I'm like, I smell a swerve, bro. And sure enough, swerve, bro. We got one. And 4-on-4 definitely works in this one. We don't need anybody else. We don't need The Rock. We don't need Zilla Fatu or whoever else you have. Whoever else is due to come in from that side of the family. But excellent segment here. And we've been waiting for this, and we've been speculating about this for months and months and months and months. And now we finally get the payoff here. This has the potential, gentlemen, to, I believe, without a doubt, it's got the potential to perhaps be the greatest WWE version War Games match yet. I mean, I don't know what it is just yet, but I mean, we've had the original Bloodline along with that the Brawling Brutes, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens in 22, and then last year with Cody, Orton, and their team against the Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre. Both of those were great. Don't get me wrong, but I personally believe in my heart of hearts, this Bloodline War Games match, this has the potential to perhaps be the best one yet when it comes to the WWE side of things. So, great way to close it out. Not much more to say. Michael Bullock, we wanted it. We got it. Bloodline War at Survivor Series, 4-on-4, 5-on-5. I don't give a damn. Bloodline's version of War Games.
That's what would have made it even better if William Regal came out and said, War Games. That would have been perfect. But we've been asking for it. We've been wondering if it was going to happen. And with this long-term booking, it's finally happening. Bloodline War Games going down at Survivor Series. The original Bloodline, the new Bloodline, Bloodline War Games. This could, and you're right, Florio, this has the potential to be one of the greatest WWE versions of War Games in a long time since and yeah, I mean, ever since they first brought it up in 2 years ago, like you said, with the Bloodline, and then of course against the Brawling Brutes and Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens. And then last year you had Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Sami Zayn and their team against the Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre. Those were good. But this has got the potential to be even something more special with the tension going on with the Bloodline. All I can say is I cannot wait for Survivor Series War Games. I mean, and you've said it in the past, Florio. Survivor Series is not the same without the traditional Survivor Series elimination match, but if they were going to replace it, War Games was the perfect way to replace it. And I think we're about to see one of the WWE's greatest versions of War Games since its inception 2 years ago at Survivor Series. So we'll see what happens. Great segment, great way to close out the show. So let's get to overall thoughts, Fletch.
Anthony Florio, you lead off.
All right. I got to give it about 7 out of 10 here. 7.5 out of 10 here. The street. Now, here's some other things here. The Street Profits confirmed they will face Motor City Machine Guns for the WWE Tag Team Championship next week on Smackdown. Before Nick Aldis revealed the new title, which was the Women's United States Championship. The final segment, we saw it. And then from there, the close. So this week's show, Friday's show was dominated by Bloodline business. At least 25% of the 2-hour runtime was dedicated to this feud, but at least we got some progress toward the War Games build. As far as the action goes, Motor City Machine Guns and A-Town Down Under had the fight of the night, and it will likely happen for Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin again next week when they battle the Street Profits. Friday's episode may not rank among the best, but it had its moments. I will give this about 7 to 7.5 out of 10. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, 7 to 7.5 for me. Like you said, this was dominated without the. Dominated for the whole bloodline drama. So, yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. Fletch, let's get your thoughts, and then we'll get into your Mikey's mindset.
Yeah, 7.5 out of 10. I thought they did a fine job, to say the very least. So, yeah, so we really got nothing more to say. And all right, so this is the show that everybody's been wanting to hear. This was the AEW Collision that was at the AMP, the Amica Mutual Pavilion from Providence, Rhode Island. Started out with the Iron Savages going up against the House of Black. House of Black winning the match in 3 minutes and 24 seconds. Then the lights went out and FTR showed up. And as many of you guys know, there is a tag team tournament coming up. And during that first round on Dynamite this Wednesday night, it will be FTR versus the House of Black. But we don't know which members it's going to be. They will reveal on Wednesday night. Then Leo Rush basically cut a promo calling out Swerve Strickland, and that match will happen next week as well. So then we had, like I said, the tag team tournament, the Outrunners, who actually became pretty popular. That they got a pretty big pop out of Providence. It was very unique. They went up against Top Flight, and the Outrunners wins it in 10 minutes and 17 seconds, man. Okay. Anthony, you're going to have to help me here. So the Outrunners are like a 1980s gimmick tag team, like Rock and Roll Express, old school wrestling. And I gotta admit it, man, the fans in Providence was eating it up. Like, they were loving these guys.
One, especially one in particular. Shout out to our dear friend, Mr. Ryan Abedizian. He was at this show, and I know he got a kick out of it, I'm sure. And this is a tag team we got to keep an eye on, and when it comes to the tag team division and this tag team tournament, MF, what this is there's a series of matches, and we have Private Party will be defending the AEW World Tag Team Championship against 3 other teams in a fatal 4-way match. So there's a series of matches coming up, and the 3 teams that come out of these matches, the Outrunners are the first team to qualify. We've also got FTR going up against House of Black Wednesday night on Dynamite, and I don't remember off the top of my head what the other match is. I think it's scheduled for next week's Collision, but the end game is a fatal 4-way match for the AEW Tag Team Championship. Private Party versus Outrunners versus the winner of FTR and House of Black. And
one other match. And that's going to be at Full Gear, if I remember correctly.
That is correct. It will be at the Full Gear pay-per-view, November 23rd, the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, the home of the Devils.
All right. So then after that, we did have was Roderick Strong versus the Beast Mortals, and it was Roderick Strong winning the match in 9 minutes and 40 seconds. Then we had Chris Statlander against Ashley Vox, and of course Ashley Vox, actually Rhode Island, New England native, but Chris Statlander winning the match in 43 seconds. And Stats also was very well known. If you guys know her, she actually did a lot of Beyond Wrestling. She used to wrestle a lot in New England. So for Stats, this is somewhat of a homecoming for her to be back in Rhode Island, to be back in that area. She was very prevalent in Providence at what they call the Fett Theater. That used to be one of the biggest breeding grounds. And then, of course, there was an area in Worcester that she was very popular in during her Beyond Wrestling days. her and Orange Cassidy actually did a lot of shows, especially around that area. So they were very popular. Stats is well loved in that area, and so is Ashley Vox. Ashley Vox also is also pretty popular in the New England area. Like I said, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. She is. So this was kind of a love letter. AEW giving us a little love letter by giving us two of our favorite girls to have them wrestle in that arena at that venue on that night. It was absolutely perfect. And then of course, Mercedes Moné comes out, and that confirms what we thought about the match. Then we had Action Andretti versus Jack Perry for the TNT title, and it was Jack Perry winning the match in 9 minutes and 48 seconds. Then the next thing that we did have after that was AR Fox versus Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne winning the match in 8 minutes and 53 seconds. I'm not going to talk about that disgusting thing that Nick Wayne did after. I'm not going there. I'm leaving that one alone. Then at the end, we had a trios championship fight in the main event. It was Pac, Wheeler Yuta, Claudio Castagnoli. They went up against Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, and Tomohiro Ishii. When it was all said and done, winners of the bout, 19 minutes and 7 seconds, Blackpool Combat Club. They win it. Nice craziness at the end of the show. I guess it was fine for what it was worth. I mean, it wasn't, like I said, if you wanted my honest opinion, I kind of gave it like a middle of the road. Yes, and it was for the trios title on the line, so champions remain the champions. Like I said, I gave it a 5 out of 10. I kind of said that it was kind of a middle of the road type show. If you guys wanted my thoughts, that was my thoughts on the show. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. And, yep, the word got out. The Detroit Lions goes into Houston and walks out winners. Doesn't matter that Jared Goff throws 5 interceptions in the game. The Lions roars their way to the victory on a field goal to end it after Kyle Forbath missed a field goal that led to the game-winning drive for Detroit to win it. Detroit, I believe that makes them what? 7-1, 8-1 now?
8-1.
I'll tell you,
8-1.
the Lions,
unbelievable.
They had no business winning that game.
19 unanswered.
And somehow they pulled it off.
What is it about this team, man? I love it.
That's Dan Campbell. Gnawing those freaking kneecaps. They don't give a damn. They are, look, I said it once. I'm saying it again. The Detroit Lions right now they're the best team in the NFC. Philadelphia is there. I'm not going to discount the Eagles because they're right there. They're at, I think, 7-2. And they had a big win today over the Dallas Cowboys. But right now, I'm going to say it. I don't care what anybody says. I think the NFC Championship game right now is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Detroit Lions at Ford Field. I think that's where we're heading. And then as far as the AFC goes, we know Kansas City will most likely be there at the end. We just don't know who's going to be their opponent. Maybe Buffalo? Maybe? Who knows? Maybe next week might be the AFC Championship preview. You don't know. We don't know. So, we'll see. All right. We're done. Tomorrow night, Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. Monday Night Raw, he's got his Tony's Take again. And then Wednesday Night Madness, AEW. We'll talk about AEW and NXT. Thursday, College Football Thursday. Friday's NFL Friday. And then 1 week from Saturday, we do it all over again with the Cerebral Smack Talk. So until then, for Anthony Flair, for Michael Bullock, I'm Michael Fletcher. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video, leave a comment at the bottom, share with all your friends on all the social media platforms around the world. Be a friend, tell a friend, say something nice. You can actually change their life. So long, everybody, and we will see you all tomorrow night.